Hey everybody, I'm Justin Bohn.
And I'm Mike Val.
And this is the Bohn and Zano Zone, where we are always on the lanes, off the charts, and on the mic. Hey everybody, I'm Justin Bohn.
And I'm Mike Val.
And this is the Bohn and Zano Zone, where we are always on the lanes, off the charts, and on the mic. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bohn and Zano Zone podcast presented by BuddiesProShop.com. I'm Justin Bohn. Mike Val, my co-host, will be here shortly. He had some technical difficulties with his computer, and he will be on momentarily joining me. But headlining tonight's show, Anthony Simonsen winning this year's USBC Masters for a second Masters title, his fourth major of his young career. He's only 25 years old, and his 10th overall title. Unreal performance from him all week as he led qualifying. Norm Duke possibly being retired now. He had announced and hinted at it throughout the week, and we believe that was his last PBA televised event besides the PBA League, at least in singles competition, that was his last event. So it's been a pretty unreal week with what has gone on in the bowling world, on top of the USBC Masters, what's gone on at the Open Championships, and everything else that's gone on in the bowling world, with bowling balls being legal, illegal, and all that's gone on that way, with the 6 storm balls being announced illegal for USBC national competitions. That included the Masters, and the balls were legal day 1 and not day 2 or day 3 or for the bracket or TV show. But the PBA announced that they will be using them for the rest of the PBA season, which there isn't a whole lot left. The playoffs is left. The league is left. So those are some pretty exciting things, along with some other specialty events that the PBA has going on. But it's been pretty crazy. But we're gonna get started with the USBC Masters once Mike gets started. But I will kind of start with my What's Up in Wichita segment. Not a whole lot going on this weekend. I went to Oklahoma City this weekend. Kind of just took a relaxing vacation. The girlfriend came into town. We hung out down there, went to Topgolf, had some dinner, the whole 9 yards. Made a good time out of it. So there wasn't a whole lot of bowling going on. Had some practice this week so far. Been through 2 days. Got our team jackets today, which was pretty cool. But yeah, we are about 2 weeks away from nationals. We've got about a week and a half left to practice. Nationals are going to be starting April 20th. We have practice that Wednesday, and then the competition goes throughout the whole week with the shows on Saturday. But now that's going to wrap up What's Up in Wichita, as Mike Val is back. He's made it. He's in the booth. He's on the air. Mike, how are we doing tonight?
I'm back.
Perfect.
I'm sure everybody has been waiting for my arrival.
Oh, I bet. We've already got comments. Val for CEO in the chat.
This would be a great time for me to be the CEO of something, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was at the durometer getting my balls inspected.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you're totally fine. It happens. We told him we had some technical difficulties. You had to restart your computer or whatever you had to do. But we're all good now. We're here. We're gonna get started. Like I mentioned earlier, Anthony Simonsen winning the USBC Masters. Norm Duke leading the Masters, finishing second, and probably his last singles event on TV, as he kind of announced his retirement on Sunday.
Yeah, it was kind of apropos. Is that the right word? I tell you what, I don't think there's not one person in the world that didn't want Duke to win.
Oh my God. I gotta go find this video that I shared on Facebook, because it was the perfect way to describe who were you cheering for in the last match. And I had just recently shared it. It's an old video of Brandon. Brandon was watching Norm.
I saw that. Mm-hmm.
I mean, crazy long time ago, right?
Yeah, he was sitting at your kitchen table. He was like 3 or 4. I remember that.
Let me get this video up, because I mean it's priceless.
Yeah, there wasn't one person. I can't think of any one person that was not pulling for Norman to win this thing on Sunday. There he is.
Yeah.
Who does? Oh man, is he winning?
Yeah. Top guy's losing.
He is?
Yeah.
Are you cheering for Norm Duke? Yeah.
So that described my mood for who I was cheering for, and I know for a fact I wasn't the only one.
And you know what the funny thing is? That child in that video right there told me to go bleep off last night. So what a man he's become.
Yeah, the young man himself.
Yeah. No, there wasn't a person that didn't want Duke to win. And
yeah, I think if you were a fan of bowling, you didn't want to see, or you wanted to see Norm win.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think as a fan of bowling, we were excited to see Norm win one title 3 years ago when he won. And then he won back to back.
Twice. Yeah. It's just a testament of how good this guy really is.
Yeah, I mean, defying Father Time.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, it doesn't matter what they give him, he finds a way to get there.
Yeah.
And this is the most grueling format out of any of the majors.
Yeah. I do think that the players say that it is the hardest one to win because of the bracket format. I mean, you can bowl 780 and lose, or 580 and win.
Exactly.
And Norm said in an interview that he felt that this format had kind of given him that advantage, because it wasn't a total pin format. It wasn't a crazy long format to get to the show. I mean, once you got through qualifying, Dad likes to phrase it as 2 separate tournaments.
It is.
As you got to get to the bracket, and then it is the bracket.
Yeah, it's a 15-game qualifier, 15-game tournament, and then the bracket is tournament 2. Exactly.
Right. But I don't know the last time a number 1 seed in qualifying has won the Masters.
That's a good one.
That's got to be a long time. I mean, Simonsen ran the winner's bracket, lost to Norm Duke for the number 1 seed, and then won the tournament.
That's a good one. I don't know that one.
I don't know if it's ever been done with how hard
I know.
It is to
well, I saw a dad bowled for me last night, and he had told me last night he led it, lost in the title match.
Okay.
The year he won it, Couch led the tournament. He didn't win it wire to wire. I can't think of anybody that's won it from the number 1 seed recently.
Yeah, it's been probably quite some time since that's happened, because it's a bracket. It's not like it's a, oh, this team is, or this player is exponentially better than the 64th seed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about guys that can, in a 3-game match, anything can happen.
I'll give you a little one here. Who was the last person to win the Masters and the U.S. Open in the same year?
No idea.
Mike Albee.
Yeah, would
How's that
have
one?
never guessed that.
Simonsen's the first bowler in nearly 30 years to win the Open and the Masters in the same year.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Belmo's done that. Mr. Major, I don't think he's done that.
No, he's only won the Open once.
Correct.
That was 2020.
Yeah, Albee's won the Masters 3 times, and he only won the U.S. Open once, and that was it. 1989 was the year he did it.
Yeah.
But all right, so do you want to hear my gripe on the Masters?
There was something else that I wanted to add.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Oh, Player of the Year. Now,
his name's in the mix right now.
I mean, when we talked last week, it was ironic how we said that 2 guys were the only 2 that had a chance.
It was Dom
and now
Simonsen.
Between Dom and Prather, exactly. Now Simo's got that chance. Now that Simo's won 2 majors. You got to keep in mind, Belmo's won a major and 3 other titles. Yeah,
he has 4 titles in the year to Simonsen's 2, but I think Simonsen's 2 count as 4 regular titles. If you really want to weigh that with the majors.
Yeah, if it was 3 regular titles to 2 majors, I'd say the 2 majors. Or even 1 major and 2 titles. It'd be a lot closer. But I still think Belmo's got that edge.
I do too. The only way I think he snaps him off, Simonsen wins the playoffs, and that makes him 3.
Yeah.
And then he has a real legit puncher's chance right there to go at it and take it from Belmo.
Yeah, because I know that it was a similar battle last year between Kyle and Frankie, and they ended up bowling each other in the round of 4 at the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that was basically the match for the Player of the Year.
Correct.
Because if Frankie had gone on to win the playoffs, he probably would have won Player of the Year.
Probably.
Yeah.
And Troop had everything else. I mean, he had every other statistic was Kyle's last year.
Right.
All right. So I'm gonna give you this one, and I talked about it I had 2 super subs bowl last night.
Okay.
And I addressed on the same team last night.
That's impressive. Is there a rule?
You know what? That? No, I make the rules. Remember, I run the league. So, I'll give you a quick little one to start. Just a little lighten the mood up like I normally do here. So, Dad's first shot last night, he rings a 7. Brandon had just got him a ball out of the shop, a brand new ball he drilled last night.
Brandon?
No, Dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Brandon brought it out to him, and he's working out the thumb. First shot of the night, score goes on, lights are on, rings a 7. All right, fine, no problem. Ball's in the gutter at 40 feet.
Wow.
Fell right off his hand in the gutter at 40 feet. So I'm laughing, and I'm giving it to him, obviously, like I normally do. He goes, you know what the amazing thing is? I just bowled literally 40 games at the Masters and did not have one missed makeable. First night in the league, first makeable, right in the gutter.
First frame
of the night. Yeah. Okay, so that's gonna whiff. All right, that's gonna lighten up the mood. So I brought it up to him. I brought it up to Johnny last night, and I think this needs to get changed somehow. I don't think they're ever going to do it, but my God, can they make the tournament leader lose twice on a TV show for the Masters, please?
Yeah, I think that they really need to. I mean, we talked about basically our whole topic before we got on the show, and I mean the reasons that you gave me were pretty good. I mean the tournament leader goes and wins all of his 3-game matches and goes undefeated in the winners bracket, winning all 3-game matches, and then bowls 1 game and loses, and he loses.
So I think I'm allowed to tell this. It's really not that. It's not anything private or whatnot. So I was talking to Johnny last night, and Johnny told me a story how his first ever national senior tournament was the Senior Masters. Okay. So Johnny leads the tournament wire to wire. He's the number 1 seed on the show. $60,000 for first, $31,000 for second. So it's a $29,000 difference from first to second.
It's quite a bit of money.
Bowls 237 on the show to Gary Dickinson, loses by a pin. Thanks for playing.
Okay.
Led the tournament from wire to wire. And
Wow.
he was like, well, he knew it. He knew the format, but he goes, well, why isn't it I have to lose twice? And the reason they gave him was, well, it's live TV. So here's my rebuttal to that. If that's really the case, it's live TV. Well, what happens when ESPN has a basketball game that goes to double overtime? Do they cut out? No. What about on Sunday Night Baseball when a baseball game goes to extra innings? Do they stop the game at the 12th inning? No. So
no, and the show went over at the Masters because of the roll off in the middle of the step ladder.
Correct.
They didn't stop the match 8 frames in.
Correct. So they need to really maybe examine that, because
it's a double standard thing between the sports.
Oh, it's awful. Bowling gets poo-pooed on, left and right. I understand, it's hard with live TV, but just allocate, instead of 90 minutes, 2 hours. Instead of having a 90-minute show, make it a 2-hour show. Go ahead.
Make it they're typically 2-hour shows. Make it a 2.5-hour show. I remember at the playoffs this year, or for the finals, it was a race to 5.
Okay.
And if someone won in 3 games, it was over.
Yeah.
If it was 4-4, or if it went to game 4 and it was still tied after game 4, they went into a roll off.
Every Masters. Go ahead.
If it goes to 3 games, what do you do for the remaining time? They fill it and talk about it, whatever. But how long do football games, basketball games last after the show or after the match? If you make it a 2.5-hour show, you leave that extra time for if a roll-off happens, if something else happens. You can talk to the players for 10 minutes about their victory.
And don't they have the post-game show now on they stream it with Randy? Doesn't he do something afterwards now?
The post-game show is roughly 5 to 10 minutes, closer to 10, after the show on the YouTube channel.
You can't do that on FS1?
That can be built into the TV show, and then
absolutely
removed if it needs to be, if it goes to that 5th game.
So back in the day, the show would be an hour and 25 minutes, and the last 5 minutes would be the trophy presentation, the check presentation, and a quick 2-minute interview with Bo or with Durbin or whoever it was on ESPN, and that's how they filled 90 minutes.
Right.
Now, Simonsen just took the trophy and did nothing, but you could have presented the trophy and killed 5 minutes there. And they used to even interview the runner-up sometimes.
Yeah. Well, what was hard about this one was that it was already over by 5 or 10 minutes at least.
Yeah.
Because normally they would interview the winner.
Yeah. Pressler comes out. Kimberly does that most of the time.
Yeah. Or they do some kind of check and trophy presentation that is very small, and then they'll interview him after.
Correct.
But because the shows have been running long, that's been common all season. That hasn't just been 1 or 2 weeks.
So now I learned last night as well, buddy, that in the senior Masters, tournament leader has to lose twice. Did you know that one?
I think I did.
So again, what do they have to do? How do you think Duke felt leading the thing wire to wire? It's probably his last chance to win a major.
Yeah.
And he loses, and he should have to lose twice. In any Masters tournament on the local level or the state level, whatever you want to call it, that I've ever bowled in before, even the Masters that I run, you have to lose twice. The tournament leader, if you win the winner's bracket, you have to lose twice to lose.
Junior Gold was the same way. Junior Gold is the exact same way. You had to lose It wasn't a 2-game match for the title. It was a 1-game match, but you
Okay.
had to lose 2 games. And it did work out that a bunch of the times the tournament leader lost the first game, they won the second game. I'd have to go and look at it to see how many number 2 or 3 seeds won the Junior Gold Show. Because I know the U18 boys winners bracket winner won. The U18 girls winners bracket winner won. The U20 boys winners bracket winner won. The U20 girls, same thing. U15 girls was the same thing. U15 boys was the same thing. And U12 boys was the same thing. I don't know about the U12 girls. So 7 out of the 8 divisions, the number 1 seed won in the first or second game, however it worked out. And the only reason I don't know if it is 8 out of 8 because I don't know the U12 girls. The only difference is Junior Gold and the Senior Masters are streamed on Bold TV and have unlimited time when you're on the internet for streaming, which totally makes sense.
It does.
I understand the argument. I agree that there is unlimited time to stream for as long as you want. If they want to bowl 8 more games for the title, they can bowl 8 more games for the title. Doesn't matter. But for TV purposes, some sports get it. Other sports don't. We're one of the other sports that doesn't. And we don't need it for every week. It doesn't need to be built into every week. It doesn't need to be built into every game per se.
It's one tournament. It's this tournament that needs to be built in.
It's the USBC Masters, and it only happens once.
And this weekend is golf's Masters at Augusta, and their playoff is simple. If I'm not mistaken, if you tie after the 72nd hole, it's a 4-hole playoff. I believe it's a 3 or a 4-hole playoff. CBS is not going to say, "Oh, we have to go to 60 minutes and find out who won on SportsCenter." That camera's rolling.
Right, exactly.
It's such a double standard. Like professional bowling gets, excuse my language, but we get pissed on left and right by the press and by the media. Enough is enough. Like, give us our chance to be a sport, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I think it's something that needs to be changed, and it's something that needs to be argued. But until it is argued from the right people with the right words and the right phrases, it's not going to change.
Exactly. And this all goes back to, like we said it last week, people in the industry, like when it came to like Belmo's balls, right? He spoke up very professionally in what he said, and he was 100% right. More guys like that, like him, like your father, Walter Ray, Duke, guys that have put 30 or 40 years in the game, that are reputable, that are, their name means something. Those are the guys who need to speak up and take a stand here and make it better for the next generation, like your generation's up and coming,
I think it's something that needs to be proposed to USBC or the PBA, either one, the governing body of bowling.
Yep.
Or the industries in bowling, whatever term you want to use. I'm thinking of the wrong term here.
Mm-hmm.
It then needs to be proposed to Fox, who is the streamer. If it was CBS, if it was ESPN, it needs to be proposed to them that say, hey, we need this amount of time for this tournament for this reason.
It's one event a year. That's it.
Right. It's not something that we need every week, like football, basketball, baseball even. It happens in baseball.
Yeah. But it's just one event a year where, hey, we may go over, and we won't know if we go over until we're on the show. Right.
So can we get 2 hours and 30 minutes for this show, or 3 hours for this show?
Yeah, and they did it yesterday, right? I'm sorry, 2 days ago, right? So what followed the Masters? I think it was NASCAR, right? I think it was NASCAR. So it wasn't like, oh, they had, they're competing against the NFL, or they're competing against March Madness, competing against NASCAR. And not to knock NASCAR by any means, but you're not
it's not
the
like,
NFL.
It's not like it's the Super Bowl or the AFC or the NFC Championship or the Final Four in the March Madness bracket, which makes total sense.
If you're competing against the NFL, if you're competing against March Madness, I totally get it. You're competing against NASCAR, a regular, not the Daytona 500, it's a regular race in the NASCAR circuit.
Which bowling shows, if events prior, if basketball games or whatever was on before bowling ran over, the show would wait.
Yes.
The players would get extra practice on whether it be the TV pair or the practice pairs. If it's 8 minutes, it doesn't matter.
That's all you need.
The show gets pushed back.
Mhm.
So that's they don't start the show at 2 p.m. if it's supposed to start at 2 p.m., but they don't come on the air until 2:10.
Yeah,
They wait until 2:10.
The only one that did that was ABC, and ABC did that very rare, where they used to have events like before bowling that would run over. So very rare you would see like ABC shows start in the third frame sometimes, or the second frame. They would cut in live or whatever it would be.
Right.
It happens. So after we left last week, there was some news that came out. And literally, I called you 15 minutes after we got done last week.
Yeah, because I got the message in our team group chat that night about those bowling balls.
Right before, or you got it right before I called you.
Yeah. I mean, it was within 30 minutes to an hour of our show ending. The 6 storm balls that were deemed illegal in USBC national competition, which I kind of mentioned earlier, was going to be one of our main headlines and our main topics of discussion for the night, because it's been controversy in the bowling world, and it affected the USBC Masters pretty heavily to a lot of players.
Yeah.
Not only the Masters, the Open Championships as well.
And how about the Collegiate National Championships? Junior Gold, it's going to affect the Senior Masters.
But those weren't something that, hey, next week you can't use these balls. It's today or tomorrow. I mean, even for us, I'm going to use this example because we're probably the next closest thing that is affected by this. USBC came out with it, what was a week ago? The 28th or the 30th?
Yeah.
College National starts April 20th. You got 3 weeks to get new balls.
Yeah.
3 weeks to find other balls. You got plenty of time.
You do.
Realistically, you have plenty of time to get new balls. You might pay a little bit for it, but you have plenty of time to get new balls. If you tell guys that are at the Masters that bring out 9 bowling balls and 6 of their bowling balls are illegal starting day 2, but they were legal day 1, but you didn't find out until halfway through day 1 that they were going to be illegal the next day, are you serious?
I'm not going to mention his name, but you'll know who it is because I'm really friendly. I'm pretty close with him. Said bowler bowled the Masters last week, and he's able to drive from where he lives to Las Vegas. That should tell you who the bowler is right there. I think you know who it is. So that bowler called me Tuesday night, and he said to me, I brought 14 bowling balls to the Masters with me. 14.
Oh, now I know who it is. 14,
and the bowler drilled 3 Wolverines for the Burn squad. Okay?
Illegal.
He goes 14 bowling balls, 8 of them are illegal right now. He goes, I can't get my hands on a ball on the truck because the line is like wrapped around the building right now.
Which it's supposed to be. I mean, you're not talking about a purple hammer.
No.
That was
1 ball.
Right. That was one ball that you could
trick it and do something different. Yeah.
Yeah. But like most guys had a second urethane or a third or a fourth or a fifth that they could make work. And we're only talking about 1 ball per player.
Justin, this was like a third of Storm's line was affected by this.
I know.
A third of the line of everything across the brands.
Not just last week. The Spectre becoming USBC not approved a month ago.
So there's 7 bowling balls right there in their lines of their 3 brands that were said, you're done.
Yeah.
So said bowler said to me, he even tried going to some of his connections he has in the local pro shops in Las Vegas. He goes, you couldn't find a 15-pound ball in that line in the Storm family anywhere in the city of Las Vegas. Nobody had them. Yeah.
Because the truck's going to be for the national guys, right?
Correct. And he's a national guy as well, but again,
you've got 400 guys bowling the Masters.
Yeah.
With 8 pro shops in Vegas,
give or take, yeah.
I mean, the timing of it was not very good at all. I mean,
no.
How about the guy, the 3 games a week league bowler, Mr. John Spence, goes out to USBC Nationals, not using John's name because this didn't happen to him at all. He's on a plane to go bowl the USBCs. This letter comes out. Let's say he doesn't even use a spare ball. Forget about the altered reality phase 4 spare ball. What if he just brings those 3 illegal balls, shows up to Nationals, can't use any of them?
Go to the booth and buy balls, John. See ya.
What? How does that make sense?
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Now, I had this argument with, I wouldn't say an argument, but I had a pretty good discussion with somebody last night. Dad. Okay. And this was what I said to him. I said the exact same thing you just said. What about the 187 guy who's on the plane flying to Vegas to bowl the Nationals?
That only bowls 3 games a week.
3 games a week. Phase 4, Wolverine, alter reality. Illegal. I thought, what is he doing? You know?
Especially the guys that don't invest their heart, soul, time, and money into this sport.
Exactly. So I said to him, this was my rebuttal to your father last night. Barnes is leading the all events, right, at the Nationals, and he's leading doubles. He used 2 of those balls are on the list. Now, granted, Chris did not know they were illegal when he bowled.
No, they were legal when
they were legal. Yeah, this information was not released, and even if they were illegal, Barnes wouldn't use them. He's not going to use an illegal ball. We all know this, okay? And that's not what we're saying here. But we bowled June 28th and 29th, Justin, at the Nationals. Yeah. I should be able to use the same balls that Barnes used 2 weeks ago when he took the lead. And this is where your father disagreed with me. He goes, but you're at the level where you can take any ball and make it work. I said, yes, you are right. I can use a different ball, right? I have access. I can do that. You can do that. John Spence can do that. We have access to different equipment. I get that. But the point I was trying to make to Parker last night was I should be able to use the same balls that they did the first 4 weeks of that tournament. Period.
Right.
That's my gripe. But he goes, well, they're going to release a dozen new balls by the time you guys bowl in June. Yeah, you're right. But again, the leader of the tournament used balls that were deemed fair at that point, right?
Balls that are added to the approved list, I don't think there's an issue with.
No.
It's when you take away, prime example, the COVID rule last year. the mask rule.
Okay, I told you about this when we talked earlier.
And I knew about this rule because I thought it was kind of crazy at first, but then I understood it.
So tell them the mask rule.
So in Nevada, where Nationals is ran, masks were you had to wear masks when you bowled for half of the tournament.
When the tournament started, the state of Nevada still had the mask rule in place for anything indoors.
Right. Halfway through the tournament, you don't have to wear masks anymore.
Yep. The state of Nevada lifted the mask rule. But
USBC said you still have to wear the masks because we started the event that way.
And why did they say that? Because they said it was at a disadvantage. It wouldn't be fair to the gentlemen or the ladies and the gentlemen who bowled April, May, whatever it was, in a mask, that the people that were coming out later in the tournament would have an advantage. They kept it in place. Totally fair.
Now the guys bowling after these balls become legal are at the disadvantage.
And that's what I was trying to make to your father last night. Like, yes, certain people are, at a higher level than others. I get that. Certain people have access to equipment more than others do. I get that. But it's just equality across the board. Like, I should be able to use the same balls that Barnes did, the same balls that Joe Bowler did on the first day of the tournament. That's what I was trying to get at.
Right.
And
once
I think
the tournament starts, those balls should be illegal throughout the duration, or those balls should be legal throughout the duration of the tournament.
That's like
End of story.
Tiger Woods playing the Masters this weekend, right? Let's just say Tiger Woods comes out and he uses one of those long putters, like those long putters that they
Yeah.
put like in your chest. Okay, Tiger Woods shoots 65 on Thursday at the Masters, right? They come to him on Friday morning. Oh, Tiger, by the way, that long putter is outlawed. Can't use it anymore. Well, why? You got to do that in the middle of the tournament. You can't do that, right?
If a ball is spot checked and doesn't meet qualifications, and that specific ball is pulled from the event at an event like the Masters, totally fine. Understand it. Balls that become USBC no longer approved or are not met to USBC specifications at an event like the Open should wait until that.
Wait to the completion of the tournament.
They can be no longer USBC approved at the start of the 2022-2023 season, with the exception of the Open if it runs into August. I don't know.
Did you know when they dropped the bomb to the players?
Probably Monday or
no. Do you
Tuesday.
know when it happened? That's what I'm asking you.
It was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday, but do you know when they told them?
It couldn't have been much sooner.
I was
the middle
told
of the day.
15 minutes before C Squad hit the lanes for practice, they told everybody.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and then they could use them for C Squad.
C Squad could use them, correct.
But then
throw them in the garbage.
Yeah, they're done for the Masters.
Find your dumpster outside the Gold Coast and go chuck them in the dumpster.
Not one person's ball was too soft from a random spot check or the weight was illegal. All of those balls were done.
The only good thing I'll say the USBC did in this situation, and again, I learned this last night from a very reputable source, Dad, was after C Squad Bowl Tuesday, they gave players the option that was really affected by this, right? Whether you were the tournament leader, you were 13 over, you were 7 under, or you were the red leader at 400 under after round 1. You could withdraw, and the USBC would refund your money in full.
Okay.
That's not bad.
No, that's
kudos to the USBC for that one.
Yes, that is at least an opportunity to make it right.
Correct. That's the best thing they could have done.
At the same time, the expenses to bowl an event like the Masters, if you don't live in Las Vegas,
especially with the way flights are today, forget about it.
Plane flight for
hotel.
You have a round trip plane flight. You have hotel for a week. If you are old enough to get a rental car, you have a rental car for the week. You have food for the entire week.
You want to gamble because you're in Las Vegas, maybe put a shekel into a slot machine.
Those 4 things you have to spend money on.
Easily.
If you're already there, you can withdraw from the tournament and get your refund. That's $500. You spent probably $3,000 to get there.
Easily.
Yeah.
That's a very expensive 4 days in Las Vegas.
Yeah, to just be done with the tournament.
I mean, kudos to USBC for doing that.
Yes, I
commend the USBC for that one.
Yes, I'm happy for them. I'm glad that they did that. I appreciate that rule. But the way that rule was handled, no, they should have, even if they waited the rest of the week and then said, hey, these balls are illegal at USBC national tournaments except for the Open.
Except for the Open. So now what else is affected by that? Junior Gold, Collegiate National Championships, the Senior Masters.
I would have been okay with that. I think I would have. Or even if they did announce it on Tuesday, 15 minutes before C Squad, and said these balls are legal for the rest of the Masters, but they are illegal at these events in the future, and then will be illegal starting in August 1, 2022 for the duration of the season and so on.
So I gave you the other example. So if they don't resolve this, in a timely fashion or whatnot, what about the Lucy? And I bring up the Lucy only because the PBA, Tom Clark said the PBA is not going to follow in foot or in suit with the balls being banned. So those 6 balls you can still use in PBA competition, correct?
Correct.
But now you go bowl the Lucy. So let's just say, and I'm going to give you the example that I gave you on the phone before, right?
Yep.
Justin is bowling with Shannon O'Keefe. Okay. Justin, you're now a Storm staffer. Okay.
Okay.
You can throw those 6 bowling balls at the Lucy.
Okay.
Shannon is also a Storm staffer. Shannon cannot throw those 6 balls because the USBC technically runs the PWBA.
Right.
So let's just say you have the nuts with one of those 6 balls. Shannon can't hit the broadside of a barn. You know that ball would line up good for her. Sorry, Shannon can't use it.
Right. Doesn't make any sense.
How is that fair?
It's not. And I doubt that rule would be in play. It would be one way or the other.
Do you think they're eventually going to make these 6 illegal across the board? Meaning in league play, in your local association, just say, hey, look, it's gone.
I would hope so. If Storm doesn't stop the sales of this ball, because they have to replace all of them.
They already started replacing them. They already came out. I don't know if you saw that, what the replacement is. Did you see what they did?
No.
So it's just like the Spectre. You have to fill out the form, yada, 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 all that stuff. You have to ship the ball back to Storm.
Which is fair.
Yeah, which is fair. So you're going to pay for shipping. Storm is giving you a list of X amount of balls from each of the brands that you can choose from. Okay. And they're giving you a $50 voucher for drilling.
Okay.
That's not bad. So if anything, Storm is really taking it on the chin. How many millions of dollars are they losing in the deal here?
Oh, I mean, 100 a ball,
easily
150 with the drilling.
Justin, well, what is here's the other interesting part. I watched a video of our buddy Mr. Wriggles at a local pro shop doing a little testing on his own with a durometer. So he took an altered reality right out of a box, tested it. The red part of and I could be wrong, and Jeff, if you're going to watch this, you can yell at me later like you normally do. He tested the red part of the ball, was the ball is multicolored.
Okay.
So the red came back soft. The black part of the ball came back, it was okay. So do the colors affect the hardness and the softness of the ball?
Yeah, because I think different colors roll differently. I mean,
So,
if you take a certain ball and change the color on it, you're going to change the way it rolls.
These multicolored balls are the problem then, or could be the problem because they have 3 different colors on them, 4 different colors on them.
Might be.
So what's the solution then? What is the solution to prevent this from happening? And I have an idea, but I want to hear if you have an idea or a thought.
To a solution for how they, or a new idea or new solution for how they could have done it last week.
No, or how can they prevent this from happening in the future? Across the brands, across the 3 major companies. And I mean Storm, Brunswick, Motive is the 3 major companies. That's really all there is, right?
Yeah. The legal hardness could be, I think it's 73. It could be wrong.
I think it's 73.
If it's 73, and if it's not, we're going to use 73 in this example. If the minimum is 73, they have to be USBC approved at 74 before they go out to anybody. You give them that wiggle room. Make it 75 even.
So
or lower it to 72 and make it 74.
But how do you do that though? That's what I'm saying. How do you do that?
So they would go through the USBC testing process to make sure that they're legal. They test the ball across all the colors. And if the average is a certain number, however they do it, if the softest part of the ball is over 74 75 in this example for 2 over 73, or even 1 over, we'll use 74. If it's 73, the minimum is 74. If ball A from company A is 74.1 on the softest part of the ball, it's legal. And then you have 1 to play with.
So is it the material that they're pouring? That's the issue, right?
Could
The
be.
resin. Okay. So what if they were to do this? What
Well,
if
the urethane also gets softer over time? I don't know
Correct.
if these balls get softer over time too, the resin ones.
forget the urethane. It's about the resin balls, right?
Right.
What if there was a way where you put all the geniuses from every company, the main ones, so Storm, Brunswick, and Motive, right?
Okay.
Let's just say you took Boomer Shine from Storm, you took Billy O from Brunswick, and I don't know, whoever the guy in Motive, let's just say
Brett
was
Spangler.
Brett Spangler, right? You took the 3 of those guys and said, listen, we as a community, right, need to find a way how to do this. Like, what if they all use the same resin or the same manufacturer that makes the resin? We're all going to pour with the same batch or the same material, and we'll put our own spin on it eventually. So we're not going to have these problems anymore. Like, they join forces to kind of like combat this problem. You ever see that happening? You see where I'm going with that?
I
Where
think
it's
it would
like a
have to be
betterment for the
something
sport.
where they all get to USBC. I think it would have to be a USBC coordinated meeting per se.
Mhm.
Sharing like to where Storm's hardness in red is 75 and Motive's hardness in red is 74 and Brunswick's is 74.5, and I'm just throwing random numbers out there.
Mhm.
And these chemicals are thrown in it. How can we change it to where they all are, or USBC gives them the chemicals to make the colors? But I mean, now we're talking like crazy stuff here.
And
We're
it's like
talking like scientist stuff that's way over our head.
Yeah, this is stuff that we don't even know about, but it needs to be altered. It needs to be fixed.
Yeah, there is a solution out there. I don't have the answer. I don't think you have the answer. But we can't.
We can give our opinion and speculate on what we think could happen,
And that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
But I think the balls becoming illegal in the fashion that they are, it's, I mean,
here's the next one.
it's costing the companies too much money.
Oh yeah,
it's costing the sport too much money, and the way that it's happening is
detrimental to the sport right now.
Exactly.
So when Simonsen won Sunday, and he said, "You can't stop us. You can't stop us. This is for Barb and Bill. You can't stop us." What is he referring to? What do you think he's referring to? Because if you think about it, he used the ball. That uproar he used on the right lane, that ball was made 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2014 or 15. Yeah.
It's that ball's been made a long time ago. Idols were made a long time ago. They're out of the line now, but
he used 2 discontinued bowling balls.
He did. So what do you think he meant by that?
That the balls becoming illegal at the Masters, it was not directed at Storm. It just so happened that the 6 balls were Storm bowling balls because they tested balls across the board. They tested balls from Brunswick. They tested balls from Motive. They tested balls from Storm.
Mm-hmm.
That I know from the inside sources of the Masters.
Correct. We both know that. Yes.
I know that. It just so happened that all 6 of them came from Storm. So it almost could have looked like a dig at Storm, and they hurt the players in the Storm family, in the Storm Products family, for that week. They can't stop us. The rules that were being made by USBC, it couldn't stop Team Storm, Roto Grip 900 Global, from winning the event. And granted, it is all the players. I mean,
how many made the show? How many Storm guys made the show? 3?
Yeah.
It was Simonsen, Duke, Brad Miller, AJ the Motive guy, and who's the other one?
Sean Maldonado.
And Maldonado, the Brunswick guy. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Simonsen could win 10 titles with any company.
Anything. Absolutely. He could win with a
Norm
piece of a
Duke
rock.
could have won with anything. Brad Miller could have competed out there with anything. But yeah, that's kind of my thought process on that statement, was that the balls that were affected were all Storm balls, and it hurt the Storm family because it didn't hurt the Brunswick family and it didn't hurt the Moda family. No. That it was more of a rule that hurt them, and that rule couldn't stop them from getting the title that week.
People also forget the Motive was affected a couple of years ago with that Jackal. When they
Yes.
had the thing with the core. So Motive was the first one to really take the hit a couple of years ago when they had that ball at the core, right?
And Brunswick was the second one with the purple ball.
But it wasn't the Brunswick purple hammer that they were going after. It was the EBI purple
the Ebonite one. Yes.
It was the EBI purple hammer they were going after.
Correct.
Big difference.
Correct.
Now, do you think?
But still, the Brunswick family had to buy and replace
exactly
all of those balls.
So, do you think that there is going to be more to come? More balls are going to be deemed as too soft, and it's going to be just another bullet fired out of the USBC's gun with another brand.
I don't know. I don't have that crystal ball.
We don't either. Nobody expected this to happen last week.
No. And I mean, the purple hammer was kind of expected. The Spectre was out of nowhere, and these balls were out of nowhere.
Yeah. The Spectre was the first. That was like totally like a shock.
Yeah, the Spectre's illegal. What? Why?
Exactly. And then now 6 balls out of nowhere. Just, by the way, nice try. Can't use them.
Yeah.
But I really hope that they don't have more to come from another brand, because it's not good for the game. You know,
No.
We don't need any more negative publicity. Not that we get publicity to begin with, but we don't need any more negative stuff coming from the sport of bowling. We don't.
No, we don't need any more hate going around the sport of bowling.
And this is why, and I hate to say this, Justin, it absolutely pains me to say this. This is why bowling will never be an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
It's the truth. It'll never be an Olympic sport for this reason. And as crazy as he is, Gary Beck has he does it the right way when he does the team masters.
You know, I was kind of thinking that because when you think about all the other sports, they all use the same ball.
Basketball, football, baseball, tennis, golf. Oh, golf, not really, but yeah.
They use clubs, but they're all the same clubs to an extent. They're all the same name. They're made by different brands.
A driver is a driver, exactly.
Whether it's a Storm driver or a Brunswick driver,
exactly,
they're still drivers.
Yep.
Bowling, it's not that way.
And Gary Beck, for those who don't know who Gary Beck is, Gary Beck runs the Team Masters. And Justin, you can correct me here, but when you enter the Team Masters, you get 2 bowling balls when you enter the Team Masters, correct?
Everybody has to use the same 2 bowling balls.
But they're basically like a hybrid between plastic and urethane, right?
Correct.
You can alter the surface of them. You can do whatever you want to them.
Yep.
But it's everybody uses the same ball for the tournament, correct?
Correct.
So maybe there's a method to Gary Beck's madness.
I think if bowling's ever going to be in the Olympics, it needs to be.
That's the way you have to do it.
They get 6 balls that are made by a brand that is it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who makes them.
Company XYZ could make it. And they, no matter what staff you're on, it's excused for that event. You can still promote your sponsors.
Exactly. You can wear your patch on your Team USA shirt, your Team Canada shirt. It doesn't matter. Right. You don't even have to put a label on the bowling ball. You don't even have to.
No, you could put asymmetric solid.
The freaking IOC can make these balls. It doesn't matter. And you're right. You can label them as symmetrical solid, plastic, urethane. That's all you got to put on the ball. You don't need to put a serial number, nothing on the ball.
Right.
However many bowlers are competing in that event in the Olympics get that ball, period.
Yeah, and they get X amount of weeks. They all get it at the same time, X amount of weeks ahead of time to practice with them and prep for them.
So, and it wouldn't matter, and I'll use Belmonte, and I would use Troop as the example, and I would use Tommy Jones as an example. Those are 3 guys, right? Do you think that Storm and Brunswick would give those guys crap for let's just say, okay, DirecTV is now manufacturing these bowling balls for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Jason's going to represent Team Australia. Tommy's going to represent Team USA from Brunswick, and Kyle's Team USA from Storm. Do you think they're going to say to them, you can't use them because it's not a Storm bowl? Absolutely not. No way.
No chance.
Not for getting bowling in the Olympics. You know what? Good luck, guys. Put the Storm patch, put the Brunswick crown on your shirt. Go have at it. Bring home a gold medal. They don't care.
Exactly. No.
So what's up next? What do we got coming up next? Tour's over.
Playoffs.
Playoffs
is up next. PBA playoffs, top 16 guys in points during the 2022 season advancing to the playoffs. Action starts, I believe, Sunday at noon Eastern. Jason Belmonte and Bill O'Neill.
That's a good matchup right there. Two BFFs going at it.
Doubles partners.
Yep.
Bowling each other in the opening round, in the opening match of the 2022 Kia PBA playoffs.
Correct.
Number 8 seed Sean Rash bowling number 9 seed Kyle Troop, defending playoffs champion and
reigning player of the year.
Number 4 seed Dom Barrett bowling 13 seed Packy Hanrahan, and number 5 seed Chris Prather bowling number 12 seed Brad Miller. Interesting.
I think the big match in that first side of the bracket is definitely the Belmo O'Neill match. So let's just call a spade here. If you're a bowling fan, you want to see Belmo win. You want to see Rash win because then you would have Belmo bowl Rash in the next round.
Yeah.
Get your popcorn ready. That's what you want to see.
If you've been a fan of bowling for the last 10 years, you want to see that match.
Yeah, you want to see Troop go home. We love Kyle, but the bowling fans would like to see Rash and Belmonte bowl again. So
yeah,
that's a very strong possibility in the second round. So you go to the other side of the bracket.
Yep. Number 2 seed Anthony Simonsen bowling number 15 seed Sean Maldonado, and number 7 seed Jacob Buttriff bowling number 10 seed AJ Johnson. That show will take place next Saturday, April 16th at 1 p.m. Eastern on FS1. And then Sunday, April 17th at 6 p.m. Eastern on FS1 is the final portion of the round of 16, featuring number 3 seed EJ Tackett, number 14 seed Jesper Svensson, number 6 seed Tommy Jones bowling number 11 seed Kyle Sherman.
Justin, if AJ wins this,
AJ Johnson,
if he wins this, do they consider this a title?
Yes.
So AJ could potentially win his first title.
The winner will earn $100,000, a PBA title, and a custom WWE championship belt.
I just want the belt.
I would too.
Yes. So this is another chance at AJ to go to the winner's circle.
Yes. Yes.
So there's your 16. Who do you like?
You can't not like Belmo. You can't not like someone like Chris Prather or Dom Barrett, who's had the season that they've had. Brad Miller coming off a hell of a week at the Masters. Gotta like Simo. Gotta like Butters.
You've just listed 8 of the 16. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. I can't pick one. We're talking about the top 16 guys this year. How do you pick one? I mean, and I'm trying to think if any of these guys came from Florida or came from Weber, because
where are the playoffs?
They're in Florida.
Oh, back at that place in Jupiter again?
Some of it is at Kegel, and some of it is in Jupiter. Yes.
So it's at the center, at the training center.
Yes, some of it. I don't know how much of it, but some of it is. Yeah.
The most pristine bowling center in the world, right there. By the way.
Yeah.
You want to talk about just lane surfaces being flawless, pin decks being spotless? That's the place.
Yeah. My pick to win the playoffs.
Give me what you want to see and give me what your heart's telling you.
I would love nothing more than to see AJ Johnson win his first title at the PBA playoffs.
Okay.
I think AJ is phenomenal for TV. I think he lives to bowl on TV. And the fact that he hasn't won a title in an event like this with what's on the line, I would love to see AJ Johnson win his first title.
Okay.
I would. As a fan of bowling, I love watching him bowl because of the energy that he brings to the TV set.
Correct.
Love it. Love
You
it.
never know, and you never know what's going to come out of him either.
Exactly. What I think's going to happen, I mean, you can't not pick Belmo. You can't. Bill O'Neill's also a defending or is a past champion of the playoffs, winning in 2020.
So is Prather.
So is Prather.
All right. So I'm going to give you my feel-good one in a second.
Okay.
Close personal friend of the both of us.
Packy?
Yeah.
That would be really cool to see. Buddy's
Packy, Buddy's guy, local guy. I mean, now he's in Wichita, but Packy, he has made such strides in his game the past 18 months.
Yeah, and for him to make the playoffs,
yeah, exactly,
is pretty impressive.
He went from a guy nobody really heard of, and now he's in the top 16 in the playoffs. He's a household name now. Made a couple shows, made match play at the Masters. I'd love to see Packy win.
Yeah,
that's the first one. Yeah, I kind of want to take the older guy in this one. And I hate to agree with Spence, but Tommy Jones is due. He looks like the Tommy Jones of the mid 2000s when he was running the tour over. Tom's a little older. We know he had a couple injuries and whatnot, but my God, does he look good? He looks sharp.
I mean, and he's not just like the 13 or 14 seed. He's the 6th, or he's like number 6 seed. Excuse me, number 6 seed. So he's had a pretty impressive season so far.
Well, he's made the show at the TSC.
Made the show.
He won his bracket at the Players. He beat Duke, if you remember.
Yep. And he made a show at the World Series as well.
He made an animal show.
Yep.
And did he make the show in the World Championship? Yes. Yes. Because that was a show he never ball changed on.
You're right. Against Sterner.
He bowled like 170 on the show, 180 on the show, whatever it was.
Yep. Remember that.
He's made two shows in the majors, made the show at the Players, or 3 major shows then, right?
Yeah.
And an animal show.
Without a title.
A healthy Tommy Jones can compete with any of those guys.
A healthy Tommy Jones can win this event.
A healthy Tommy Jones is very scary.
Yeah.
So I would like to see Tommy win, but my heart's saying Tommy. The feel good one is Packy.
Yeah.
So do you want to wager a Fruitable on this?
We can do that
for when you come home.
We're going to come up with our own bracket system. I think we did something very similar last year where we had like 10 points for the first round, very similar to March Madness.
Yeah, we kind of did it just amongst ourselves last year. This year, we'll open it up to the audience.
Yeah, we'll chat about it and post it. Any information that we have about that. We're gonna have some fun with this. I think it's cool that bowling can do something like this, and we got some time to do it because it doesn't start for another 5 days.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out. We'll let everybody know what we're going to do. We will be we'll be back next Tuesday, obviously, right?
We'll be back next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, recapping half of the round of 16 from the PBA playoffs.
You got it. And then if anything else, any other breaking news, we will let you guys know. And Justin, we're going to start our I think it's safe to say we're going to start our best bowler by state show as well.
Okay.
Well, we were ready to do the draft show, and the draft got postponed till May.
Yep.
So we have some time now. Not a lot of stuff going on in the bowling world. So I think this would be a perfect time once this show is over, the playoffs are over, to introduce the debate of the best bowler to ever come out of each state.
Yeah, we can do that. I will be home by the time that this event is over.
You know what? Maybe what we'll do. Maybe we can. I'm scratching my back with a back scratcher right now.
Yeah,
maybe what we can do. How cool would this be, Justin? What if we were to do the Eastern region, right?
Okay.
And we said we already know Johnny's going to be our expert on the region, right?
Yep.
What if we were to do a live show from Howell, me, you, and Johnny in the bowling center, and we have Johnny live with us, the three of us together?
I'm in.
That would be a pretty cool one.
Yeah, I'm in. We can make that happen.
And speaking of Johnny, tomorrow night I will be on Johnny Petraglia Jr.'s show called Straight Up 5.
Okay.
And I forgot to tell you about this. Johnny had called me yesterday to invite me on his show for tomorrow night to just take the gloves off and give my opinion on the whole USBC ball banning thing and whatnot. So I'll be on Johnny's show, and then the trade-off was he gets me, we have to bring Johnny on.
Johnny Jr.
Johnny Jr. Johnny
on
Jr.
our show.
On our show. So
Okay.
we owe Johnny a spot on our show. So tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern, because he's in Vegas. So 9:30 Eastern, I will be on Straight Up 5. You can search it on YouTube or find Johnny Petraglia Jr. on Facebook. The link is there. I shared the link yesterday. It's on our Facebook page. I was instructed to take the gloves off tomorrow and let it fly, and then we're going to tell some stories about me and Johnny growing up as kids. So this is going to be a fun hour tomorrow night. I can only imagine what's going to happen. But that's what we're working on, and I think we've been here for long enough. So let's wrap it up.
All righty. Well, thanks, guys, so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Bohn and Zano Zone podcast. Anthony Simonsen winning the Masters, Norm Duke retiring, 6 storm balls, becoming illegal at USBC national competitions. We talked about all that already. If you had just joined us, go back and watch the whole episode because it was a pretty good one with some
good
great conversations and debates. As for now, I'm Justin Bohn, my partner Mike Val. Head over to buddiesproshop.com. Use coupon code ZONE5OFF to save 5% off your next order. And we will see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. as we recap the round of 16, half of the round of 16 from the 2022 Kia PBA playoffs. We will see you next week.